Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at another legend team here for this channel. It's going to be a team here from Doonebug and it's going to be with the Malamar. I kind of want to take a look at Malamar again, incorporating the current most common core of toxapex and diggersby while we're running toxapex as well, and the Dugong. Honestly, the star of this team, in my opinion, was kinda Dugong. Dugong is a very good Pokemon to run right now, which does make a lot of sense as well, because also Dugong can kinda core break the diggersby plus toxapex core, but also just does a lot of damage against a lot of the Pokemon, but also benefits quite decently from the fact that there are basically no fighting type Pokemon currently available. But of course, we're going to have here fighting type coverage on our Malamar, which is going to be very good against other Dugongs, which is going to happen here today as well. This team itself definitely played very well for me, but there's going to be one big issue which we're going to talk about as well at a later stage, which is going to be a Pokemon that, of course, this team was not designed to beat. This team got built nearly a month ago, so yeah, there's one Pokemon that you of course already know. That can be a little bit of a tricky one, but we're gonna see a matchup later on as well, where it's gonna be okay most likely. Anyway, we're gonna see here the O'Brien coming through against the opponent's Talonflame, in comes the Gastrodon. That's going to be a bit of a trickier matchup, but we're at least going to be able to still reach O'Brien, get the shield, get to hopefully swap out of here. We cannot swap out of here sadly, but we're gonna be able to swap out now into the Dugong, allowing us to get the Earth Power onto us. I was hoping that I would go for the bait first, but now we can use a shield onto the next one. Very likely gonna be the bait with the Body Slam here, of course it is. And now we can still at least go for another Icy Wind. Icy Wind is going to be able to force the opponent's attack to drop, and so we just need 4 more fast moves to win the battle, and this is going to be it. And Earth Power does not knock me out unless it crits, which luckily doesn't happen in Pokemon Go. I'm actually not too sure about it. It would be kind of funny to see like crits happening as well. A bit more RNG, which people hate, but it is part of Pokemon. Wigglytuff in the lead is going to be not really an ideal matchup for us, but we can swap out into our Dugong, allowing us to go for some Icy Winds against the opponent, and this should be a little bit better for us. It's gonna drop the opponent's attack, and they're also gonna swap out of this matchup now to go into a Marowak. I don't really understand this play whatsoever, but I will take it, dropping the opponent's attack already. We can use a shield here to get another Icy Wind off afterwards. Hopefully it's going to be the Rock Slide. It is going to be the Rock Slide, and so we should be able to reach that next Icy Wind in time. Or are we going to use this Pokemon to get a ton of energy on our own Malamar. As we will see here as well, we can go for the full farm down and the opponent goes down. We have a Superpower stored for the opponent's Wigglytuff, and even if they're going to use a shield here, at the end of the day, they're just gonna align themselves against my poison type Pokemon later on, and it's going to be very good for me. As we will see here, I can go into the Toxapex, the opponent goes for a charge move, which is going to also turn on the switch clock here a little bit. So if there's someone swap out here, which is going to be into the Diggersby as said before, this Pokemon is going to be one of the most common ones to see today. We're going to be able to swap out of here, go for one Icy Wind. We are forced to use a shield here against the incoming very likely Fire Punch, which is definitely going to knock us out. But we're going to do a ton more damage here as well with the Icy Wind, dropping the opponent's attack even further, making something like Scorching Sands, doing basically no damage against our Toxapex, as well as they're going to be insanely low already with their health, making it very easy for us to knock them out. They're going to go for the Scorching Sands here. They swap out into their Wigglytuff. We are going to be able to go for the full farm now, as I just went for the Swift, and now it is going to be game over. Next opponent, one of the trickier Pokemon here to deal with. It's going to be the Magnezone. Here's the thing as well, if they go for the bait and they basically get it correctly, as we see here as well, it's going to be very tough for us to win this battle. Magnezone is one of those Pokemon that are very difficult to us to beat really, and that's like one of the themes as well for the team. Electric type Pokemon, just generally speaking, are going to be tough with this one. Like, electric type Pokemon are quite rare usually, but we're gonna see the Dugong coming in, which is gonna allow us to go for a big superpower. But generally speaking here, we're going to have a little bit of a problem against Pokemon like Magnezone, like the Morpeko. Stuff like this going to be very, very tricky. As you will see here, the Drill Run is coming through against us. It is going to be okay, as we are going to be able to go ahead and go for extra energy, because I kind of want to go for Drill Runs later on against the opponent's Magnezone. But the opponent makes a play here, I think, soon. Oh, never mind, they actually stay in here for a little bit. We had 100 energy, that's totally fine for us. We're going to be able to go for another Drill Run, and we should be able to fully farm them down. as I'm very worried about them going to the Magnezone again here to try to farm me down. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen next. It's going to be the Azumarill. That's something that is not ideal at all for us. And I make a bit of a mistake, but I don't think it really matters at all. I decided to not go for the drill run here. I was hoping that the opponent would want to catch the move or something like this, but they didn't, of course. And now we have to swap out of here. It's Malamar against the opponent's Magnezone. We don't have shield. They can go for the full farm down. And that's game. Like, that is game. There's nothing I can do about it. Magnezone have so much energy. And this is definitely a little bit of a tricky thing for this team to deal with. But yeah, good game to the opponent here. We're gonna see as well the opponent is gonna be able to knock us out, and we can move on to the next one. Malamar against Feraligatr. That's going to be a very interesting matchup because the opponent is going to be able to reach the move at the same time as we're going to be able to go for our own superpower, which also going to be very interesting in the regard that we might want to catch a move soon. What we can do is we can go for the superpower here, forcing very likely the shield from the opponent, or we're just gonna knock them out, which is also totally fine. They swap out into the Talonflame. I am gonna let the move go through here as well because from me, oh never mind, I actually decided to use a shield here. I didn't really expect that I would do this, but that's fine. We can go ahead and go for another Ice Event. I guess I will hope that the opponent decides to use a shield here now. But at least we should be able to get some debuffs on against whatever wants to come in afterwards as well. If they're gonna go for a Brave Bird, we should be able to survive it. And then decide to go for the Brave Bird to just swap out into the diggersby, allowing us to go for that Ice Human now. And we are in an okay spot, I think. We can swap out of here. We have some energy on the Malamar. I'm not too worried about it. We can go for a foul play here. And unless they have like Hyper Beam or something like this, we should be able to survive a hit as well. Like Scorching Sand after the debuff. Never gonna knock us out here. So foul play is coming through and we should be able to survive this hit coming through here as well. Let's see what's going to be. Of course, it's going to be Hyper Beam. And so yeah, that is not as ideal. We can swap into our toxapex. And I'm gonna try to catch a move here, which turns out it did not work out as the opponent tries to also catch our move, which I guess is fine. We can go for the full farm down, and they are gonna go back into their own diggersby, going for their own charge move here as well, gonna very likely be the Scorching Sands. And it's gonna be a tough one. Can we outspeed them is the question here. Is this going to be enough? It is not enough, but we can fully farm them down in time and win the battle. Malamar against Feraligatr. That is going to be an interesting matchup here as well. We're going to try our best to go for those big super powers soon. But in this case, we're going to be able to just like fully let the move go through here because it's going to be a non-shadow variant. So I'm not too worried about it. They swap out into the Mandibuzz, allowing us to go into our Dewgong. Getting that free false move in here as well is going to be very crucial for later on. We will see the Dark Pulse coming through. And what we're also going to see, which is quite weird, I would say, is going to be that the opponent does not want to give up their Mandibuzz. And I honestly don't mind that at all. Like, we're going to have, yeah, a Dark-type Pokemon and a Dark and Psychic-type Pokemon in our Malamar, but we still have Superpower on this one. And what we're going to see here as well is that the opponent decides to go for even another shield. They swap out now into the Talonflame just to get hardwalled by our Toxapex, and so that is good game. I don't really see a point or like a reason here that we would lose this battle. There's nothing the opponent can do here anymore. We can overfarm a lot. We can go for even a Brine here. This was, by the way too risky to go for this Brine like this. Should have went for it a little bit earlier because the opponent could have went for a Fly there, which I only really realized afterwards. And oh wow, they're gonna go back into their Feraligatr. I can use a shield against them, allowing me to go for that big Sludge Wave, doing a ton of damage. And that is going to be a very good game here. As we will see the Mandibuzz coming back in, I can use a shield, and very likely going to be just the ice, not the ice cream, of course, the area ace here is what I wanted to say. Ice Wind is coming through. Most likely not going to take the knockout against them yet, but going to put them insanely low, and this is going to be easily enough for our Malamar that has a ton of energy to knock them out as well here. If I even need to, no, I think our Dewgong is going to be enough. And so we win this with 3 Pokemon left. Clodsire is going to be a very interesting matchup here as well. We're going to be able to go for the Psywave, and I don't know. I know that there's a breakpoint that Malamar can have against the other Pokemon, the Toxapex, which is very cool. There might be also a breakpoint that he could have against Clodsire, which might maybe make this matchup a little bit easier as well for you. But Malamar with a lot of attack investment is actually kind of beneficial. I maybe want to make a video towards that topic as well eventually, if I get one. I don't have a good one yet that has those benefits basically. But here we're going to see the Eradicate. And I should have not done what I did here right now. I should have went into my Dewgong instead. The reason is I did not realize what team the opponent is running. And there's a very common team right now that has this basically a specific matchup as well, or lineup as well, but they're going to have a Pangoro in the back. And if you think about it, we have a Dewgong there, it would have been very good to have this Pokemon, the Toxapex, against the Pangoro later on. I just didn't realize that one. Like, I didn't realize that one at all at the moment. That's a team, by the way, from Tonton, who got Legend with his team here. And so, yeah, I misplayed this one quite a bit, and I still don't realize what they have in the back, because if I had the shield here and just let the move go through, I would have been so much better off, because as we're going to see, a close combat maybe does a little bit more damage against me than an Earthquake does. And so, yeah, if I played this one accordingly, knowing what team the opponent would have had, I would have been fine. But yeah, basically if you encounter a Clodsire in the lead and they have a Say-Stop of Alone Eradicate, kinda you can imagine they're going to have the Pangoro in the back, and that is going to be something that I should have known, that I didn't know, and it's going to be even worse because as you're gonna see here, we're gonna not be able to farm on the Eradicate by like 1 HP, and with this, we're going to lose a battle, and that is kinda sad because that was definitely avoidable. Could have won this battle here for sure, and yeah, good game to the opponent. Ariados is next. This Pokemon is going to be, again, a Pokemon that is going to be quite decent for us, but only really in the 2-shield scenario because they have Lunge, which is gonna one-shot us, so yeah, it's a bit of a trickier one. As you will see here, we're gonna be able to still go for the foul play and do some solid damage with our fast move, as the foul play is coming through as well. Here we're gonna swap out, catch the Lunge on to our Dewgong, which is of course gonna be stuck now with an attack drop, but it's still gonna be better off like this. As they swap out into their own Dewgong, we're going to be able to avoid this matchup now with our Pokemon in the back. Honestly, Toxapex against Dewgong is not even that bad for the Toxapex, as you have more bulk and you do neutral damage with the fast move instead of the resist damage the opponent does. Yes, they have the non-stab drill run against you, which is going to be a little tricky, but generally speaking, it's not a bad matchup for Toxapex at all. But we can still at least align ourselves here with the Malamar, going for a big hit here as well with that superpower, and they survive with like 1 HP. If I went for 2 fast moves or like 1 fast move before I went for the charge move myself, I actually would have been able to knock them out before they can go for a charge move, which would have been very, very good for me and definitely would have changed up something. So like there's definitely some room for improvement. And if you saw also my recent video, I made a video about on how to improve in PvP, and the most important tip in my opinion there as well, spoiler alert for that video, is that you should rewatch your losses, because a lot of times it is actually you, slash in this case my fault, and not like anything of the game related, or like, oh, you didn't have the right team. Stuff like this is usually not the reason why you lose battles. It is like those margin plays, like predicting the opponent's backline, which I, for example, could have done in the battle before, or here just go for like 1 or 2 more fast moves, who have been able to knock out the Dewgong then instead of them getting another charge move through. Stuff like this is very important to know, very important to notice there, and yeah, something that you definitely should try to do in order to get a bit better at PvP as well. As we'll see here, the opponent goes for another charge move as well. It's going to be that Scorching Sands, and it does not knock us out. We can still reach another charge move here, and usually I should be able to win the Team Peter against the opponent with my Dewgong, and so it did not really matter here. We're still going to be able to win the battle. Good game there, but still, there's always a room for improvement. Next opponent, we're going to see here the big issue that I was talking about. Morpeko is just very tricky to deal with, and this is something that I kind of want to highlight here as well. This Pokemon is going to be a very tough Pokemon to deal with. As you'll see, the Morpeko is going to be able to do a ton of damage. They're going to be able to outspeed me now as well with the Psychic Fangs, and so we're going to go for a back-to-back superpower against the opponent. I think that's going to be the best play of going forward with it. Turns out this is totally wrong. It is not the best play that you can go for this Pokemon. We're going to take a look in the next battle what the actual best play is going to be for this kind of matchup, as it is playable. It is just very, very tough to be played with. But yeah, we're gonna see here the opponent's gonna be able to go for a Psychic Fangs. Great bait there, by the way, very good bait from them. That's going to allow them to go for the next move here in time. Otherwise, they would have not been able to reach this one. And of course, it's going to be able to knock me out after that buff and after the debuff on myself. And this game is over now, as Toxapex is not going to be able to take a super effective, double boosted Aura from the opponent. Well played there. Just Morpeko swept the entire team. Now for the final battle, we're going to take a look at how to really deal with Morpeko, as we're going to have the same kind of matchup here. We're going to have another Morpeko in the lead. We're going to be able to let the move go through again. It's going to be always the Aura Wheel. There's no way the opponent is going to bait this one. But what can you really do here? Like, the best thing maybe is actually for you to even go straight for the superpower. Don't even go for extra fast moves or anything like this, as you're always going to lose the Team Peter anyway, and they're going to go straight for the move anyway as well. It is best to use a shield here onto your Dewgong, because now you do some decent fast move pressure, and as you're gonna see, the opponent going to have the Azumarill coming in here which is going to already show me that this is going to be the team that I just showcased on my last video on the channel as well, which is going to be linked in the end card, which was very, very strong. And so, because this time around I actually also knew during the battle, it's going to be very like the team that I just showcased. It's going to be a good runner back, and I know how to play around this scenario now, as I am going to be able to align my toxapex against the opponent's Azumarill, getting a ton of energy for either the Goodra coming in or the toxapex and the Morpeko coming in. And we have now 2 Charge Moves stored on our Dewgong, we have a Charge Move stored here on our toxapex, and this is like the benefit of kind of predicting the opponent's line. Knowing on what you have to deal with is so valuable here as well. Honestly, like it's the most valuable information that you can have for battles, to know what the opponent is running, because it's going to allow you to just predict everything and kind of try to deal with that. Anyway, we're going to see here as well Icy Wind coming through, and we're gonna see the Drill Rain coming through as well. And also, of course, I have to give a shout out to my lovely girlfriend, who also said that I should go for the full farm here, use a shield with that Dewgong, and with this, we should be able to reach another charge move against the Morpeko, at least in theory, unless they're going to be able to go for their own one, which they do. And so, are we going to lose this battle? We do not, as we can survive with 1 HP and Dream. And that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I see you then. Bye bye.